I told you Portugal was gonna win. And do you know why they did? Stop. Listen, I know you're happy, Krish, that you won your first ever international trophy with your country, which now truly validates the statue they built of you and all the hard work that you put in, and is a big middle finger to everyone that criticizes you, and it gives you something that your biggest rival Messi doesn't have, and it'll probably help you win the Ballon d'Or for the 4th time in your career since you won the Champions League and the Euros this calendar year, but let me finish my thought. Come on, Totti, don't encourage him. Anyway, here are my 3 big moments for why Portugal beat France. French manager Didier Deschamps didn't start defensive midfielder N'Golo Kante like I told him he should have, because when Kante's on the field, Pogba and Matuidi have the freedom to go forward, but instead we saw Pogba have to sit in the defensive mid role while Sissoko was the main guy. Not that that's a bad thing, but let's be honest, you would much rather have Pogba be the connector going forward than a Newcastle player. However, to his credit, Pogba played more defense than I have ever seen him play, and I actually appreciate him more now because he stuck to his role and he was disciplined and he did what was best for the team rather than taking the opportunity to pout and make the game about himself. So I know he was taking a lot of grief from people online about disappearing and not being worth 100 million euros, which by the way, no one is worth that much, but he was doing his job and he was doing it well. I just blamed Deschamps for putting him there when it was clear the team needed Pogba to be higher up the field, and Deschamps had an option on the bench to make that happen. Conte. And he didn't pull the trigger. And now I have to mail that letter to the French Football Federation telling them to fire Deschamps' ass. I knew that Cristiano Ronaldo had something big planned for this game, that he was going to make sure to rise to the biggest occasion of his career, and he did, by getting hurt. Once it was clear to him and his teammates that he couldn't go on in the 25th minute, you could see the Portugal players wanting to win for him. Even I started pulling for him, which was an odd sight to see and a really odd thing to feel since I never pull for the guy. Because it always seems like Ronaldo only cares about himself, but I've decided that the guy is misunderstood. I just think, like the greats of the past and in other sports, he holds himself to a higher standard and expects the same out of others, and he always wants to win. So if you're not pulling your weight, he doesn't have time for you. But then, like the respect I gained for Pogba, I gained a lot more for Ronaldo because he too didn't pout. He acted like a true captain and tried to inspire his team in any way that he could, but mostly through encouragement. And it was refreshing to see him so human, trying to get the most out of his teammates who ultimately helped him win his first trophy for his country. The lack of rest for the French. A mere 2 days after beating Germany in a very physically and mentally draining 90 minutes, it was going to be a tough ask to get the players to hit that same level against Portugal, no matter if the final was at stake with our whole country watching, and it showed. Dimitri Payet wasn't as sharp, Giroud looked less influential, Griezmann wasn't as opportunistic in front of goal, and I just think they were tired. Sure, it's an excuse and we can file it in the excuse department, but Portugal had 1 extra day, and speaking from experience, that 1 extra day can mean a lot for the body. Honorable mentions: Rui Patricio's performance in goal, Pepe's defense and leadership, William Carvalho protecting that back four, and Nani's energy levels when Ronaldo went off. He was a man possessed. All right, your thoughts, I want them. And of course, congrats to Portugal for making history.